I just think that media is so important, and it's so important to have, even in just your city, a say in things that go on.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you know, the way now as 40-year-olds is that we kind of have to put our intellect at a different level than just running the streets and making random Instagram posts and stuff. We kind of have to be a little bit more strategic, and, you know, act like 40-year-olds, right? Well, it's true, you know.
See that shit.
That's funny because you were just talking about like how you do it, and I brought that up to a reef like on Instagram where we were talking. So there's this guy named Motek Sanchez out here in my hometown. And he started an Instagram called 209 Time, which is like a news outlet. Well, the way they operate is they kind of operate as like eyes on the street. Like, so they've gotten so big that they're actually bigger than our local newspaper.
Damn.
Wow.
They've written about by the LA Times. NPR has done episodes on them. They're known, like the biggest thing they say he's done is taking down the last mayor that we had. So long story short, like say there's that happens on the street, there's like a car accident or a house fire or there's a shooting, people are actually sending him pictures and videos to post on 209 Times. So it's like real time here in our city. So if something happens, we don't even see it on like the 6 o'clock news or the newspaper or whatever platform. We see it on 209 Times, and I'm talking about everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, all on it.
It's kind of like the Sean King effect.
Yeah, exactly like that. But we have it locally, man. So like I said, I don't know what's going on out there in Van, but like you guys have an opportunity because I've seen it done here. I've seen it done here, and it's crazy. I mean, hundreds of thousands of followers, and we are a city with I think we got a little over 330,000 people in our city, and he has like 200 something thousand followers.
Damn,
I'll let you know.
Oh yeah,
it's got the whole city on lock.
Wow, and that's in
he does. In Stockton, here in town. Yeah. And he does everything, whether it's news, he posts stuff about sports and shit like that. I mean, it's not all negative content, but I mean, like a lot of this shit is, and that's just how it goes. But the difference with his is it's not like politically driven and it's not like corporate driven. You get what I'm saying? So like CNN's gonna post one thing, Fox is gonna post another. He's gonna post exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And
from the human point of view. Yeah.
Well, it's bipartisan kind of view because, you know, down in the States, it's very political, right?
Crazy.
Like, it's like super, it's way more than up here. Like,
very divisive.
We're not as political as it is down there in the States.
No.
Like, people don't marry people because of political diversity. Hey, it's so true. Like, oh, he's Republican? Yeah, it's like they don't marry them.
Shit that don't happen because of people's political views. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so crazy. Brother, you got this real, I gotta say it, you got this Prince vibe about you to me. You remind me of Prince, man. And Arif was saying, like, yeah, he's, you know, you're a fan of all of the type of music we like, Jackson, Prince, and all that. Or you're a Michael Jackson or a Prince guy?
Prince, man, all the way.
You are. And brother, you got that sexy Prince vibe, right? Doesn't he though?
Lock it up.
Yeah, that's good, man. Because so you were really influenced by Prince growing up.
Yeah, so even my company is called A Vision in One's Mind, right? So where that comes from, but just what it represents too, like everything starts with a vision in one's mind. But honestly, like I never really tell people where it came from. So where it comes from is one of my favorite songs called Beautiful Ones by Prince. And he has the bridge in there where he's talking and he says, paint a perfect picture, bring to life a vision in one's mind.
Wow.
A beautiful one, always smash the picture, always, every time. And that's where vision in one's mind came from. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful, man.
That's pretty cool.
That's bars, yo. Prince is literally one of the greatest writers the world has ever seen, man. He's
his love.
And then that's where I picked up like my work ethic, you know, as far as like how that man would write, compose, engineer, you know, perform his music and stuff like that. So like when I got into film, I love having help. I love working with other talented individuals, but it meant something to me to learn how to do everything. You know, people see something that I do, you just understand, like I probably filmed it, I probably edited it, I probably scored it, I probably engineered the project. Like,
jeez. So do you also like being in front of the camera as well, as much?
You know, that was my strength, Ari. Like when I first started, like that's what I'm good at. My little nerdy techie side wanted to know everything. You know what I mean? I wanted to know everything. Like I would see things and like, or I would get in positions with people that were like already working in film. And instead of me like leaving or getting away, if I seen someone doing something, I would just sit there and soak up game. I would just watch.
That's cool.
It's the greatest way to learn, man.
It is, you know, and that's the thing I wanted to do this year. I get so many questions all the time about film, and plus with the people I've been able to work with. I want to do a YouTube channel so I can start helping younger people, because it's hard for me to touch a lot of people, but I understand like we have these internet platforms where I can start doing stuff. And then like I'm around people, you know, like right now I'm working on a project for Chavez. He just fought June 19th, his last fight ever, you know.
Crazy.
Wait, so you're talking about Chavez Senior, right?
Yeah, Senior.
Senior fought? He just fought?
He just fought June 19th in Jalisco, in Guadalajara.
And he won, right?
Yeah, he won. He fought Hector Camacho Jr.
Crazy!
Hector Camacho Jr. Because you know Hector Camacho Sr. They fought in the past.
Yeah.
Sr. was murdered in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So Jr. and him did an exhibition, and actually this was the same card that they had all three Chavezes on the fight. His two sons.
Unbelievable.
Jr. got beat by Silva,
which is crazy.
And see, I was a part of that whole promotion. And what a lot of people don't know is before they got Silva in the mix, they were actually trying to get Nate Diaz to fight.
Damn!
That would have been crazy.
The problem with us getting Nate Diaz to fight Junior is good old Dana White's contracts.
Clause.
Like, oh, yeah. So Nate still owes him fights before he can do anything.
Oh, wow.
Dude, GSP can't fight anywhere until he's 38 years old because of the UFC contract.
Wow, crazy.
And then as much as these guys do for a company like that, let them fucking be free.
Yeah, it's unfair.
Let them be who they are.
Yeah. There's so many fighters that get raped on their contracts. Like Francis Ngannou just came out and said that he was furious about the UFC contracts because it's kind of like incentivized to win at all costs kind of thing, right? So the fighters get win bonus on top of their regular pay, but the other fighters don't.
Oh wow!
And they got
crazy.
For the most part, these guys don't have insurance, so they pay for all their insurance. They pay for all their dietitians, their meal planning, their fitness, all comes out of their own pocket, right?
Tough.
And do some of these entry level fighters in the UFC, not no community league in the UFC, some of the minimum fights guys can get like $4,500, and it's all gone to bills right away.
Wow, that's insane.
$1,200, $1,000. You know, like I work in the boxing industry and stuff like that. I've seen some shit that on paper, like when people are like undercards and stuff like that, and I'm like, whoa, you took this shit for $500, $800?
Yeah,
that's the minimum wage, bro.
Because it's the heart of the fighter. He just wants to fight. He right? That's it.
And it's just that it's that idea of like if you had a dream and you worked your ass off, you're looking at this like if I can get past this next thing, then maybe it's going to be another opportunity presented, right?
Yeah.
But then
levels
don't, right? It's just, and I don't know. I'm a big person on like at some point, what's enough? You know, when I look at Dana Reed and shit like that, it was just like I did one of my podcasts with Stitch Duran, big known corner man, stuff like that. Right?
Stitch.
Yeah, so him and Stitch fell out big time because Stitch started his own company and he wanted to wear his brand. He wanted to promote himself on the side, right? Well, after Dana put that fucking ironclad contract together with Reebok, do you remember when UFC first started coming out? We used to see shit like Tap Out and Monster and people would come out
all over. Yeah.
And think about how much money these kids don't get, or these young men or men that don't get from endorsements and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's terrible, man. It's terrible. Well, they have a new deal now with who's their new deal with right now? The UFC just signed a new contract with apparel. But these fighters, for the longest time, they can't even make money off their likeness in the games. So the UFC games, year after year after year, these big million dollar selling games, and none of the fighters get a piece.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
And their identity, their character, everybody's on these games. And it's not like they're like football teams or like fucking basketball teams. Ain't nobody selling UFC jerseys with someone's name on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, get none of that shit. So it's like if you're not one of his like, if you're not the next Ronda, the next fucking McGregor or shit like that, you ain't getting paid.
So then how important then, it seems like going back into evolution, well, really, because it's all evolution, it seems like the requirements to be an athlete or a musician really are starting to come down to the technical side of life. It's starting to come down to the social media. Now an athlete doesn't just have to be strong, physically. He has to be strong with his social game as well.
It gets you fights.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Connor is not deserving of a top 5 fight at all. But he can continue to get top 5 fights.
4 of his last 5, right?
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
But because his social game is so strong,
it's outrageous.
He can draw, right?
Dude, so you know what's shocking to me right now? There's 3 African champions in the UFC. 3 different weight classes.
Yeah.
3 of the most dominant fighters: Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
3 of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. They could have massive pay-per-views in Africa right now.
Yeah.
Sell shit out. But Dana's selfish, man. He knows these guys are gonna ask for a massive payday.
Yeah.
They can hold a whole pay-per-view ransom if they wanted to.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know, they already fucked Francis Ngannou out of his next fight. They're already doing an interim title shot between Derek Lewis and I think it's Cyril Gain, that they're doing a interim title match. Francis just won the belt. But they're doing an interim title match because he didn't agree to doing the fight in August. He wanted to do it in December. They're doing an interim already.
Wow,
dude,
crazy.
Dana's a mafia boss.
Yeah, he is. No, straight up, because it's like, who's their governing people, right? Not just like athletic commissions. And then the other thing, like with boxing, like the UFC guys are fucked because like, where do you go? Like you can't move parallel, right?
Yeah.
Like in boxing, you got fucking Golden Boy, you got fucking kicking ass, you got Top Rank. You can go to PBC. You know what I mean? Like we watched Manny Pacquiao go from fucking Top Rank to PBC. Like good.
Like nothing.
UFC, where are you gonna go? IFL, Strike Force.
Yeah.
Bare
So
knuckle
true.
boxing.
Yeah, bare knuckle is kind of like bare knuckle and Bellator are kind of like the default second choices. But yeah, dude, that shouldn't even be an option. You should get to fight where you want to fight and get paid for it. Dude, these are sacrificing their life. I mean, generally MMA fighters don't die from their fights. It's more boxers that die from the fights. But dude, these guys are risking life and limb, man. They should get paid handsomely.
Yeah, it's Dana took on the Vince McMahon model.
Straight up.
The WWE saw how it was working.
Especially when he partnered with him, he really took on the WWE model. You know what I mean? Vince is he's raped fucking wrestlers for how many years? These guys, I was watching some of their documentaries and I was like, what the fuck you mean you fought 350 times a year?
Yeah.
365 days and 366.
Are you talking about the dark side of the ring?
Yeah, when they were like, they would do 350 matches a year. I'm like, what the? Like, dude, I can only hit the days now at my age, and I'm sore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But dude, that's they were allowed to blatantly drug use in the WWE from the 80s and the 90s. Blatant drug use, constant head injuries.
Yeah.
Dude, these guys have some tragic fucking demises, man. Like, horrible ways of going out.
Yeah.
You you listen to people from like the Hart family. You talking about like the people that were like generational and shit like that. Like, these guys weren't even just like, they all were dying from like heart attacks and shit from like opioids and fucking street drug use.
Yeah.
The combination, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, you don't gotta be like Whitney Houston in the bathtub to know that shit ain't right. Like, think about it though. In the music industry, blatant drug use, right?
Oh yeah.
As long as you're on top, yes. Here, more money, more bitches, more drugs. As long as you keep making us money, right? Career over. We just seen it, one of the most epic and iconic rap figures ever with DMX.
Yeah.
At one point, did somebody step in, dude? I mean, we all make choices.
It's so true.
So from what I heard from Swiss Beats on podcast about DMX, he said that for the past year and a half, DMX was sober, and year and a half, and he was like feeling really good, and they were gonna come out with this album. He's gonna get in shape and stuff, and he had a weekend in New York without Swiss Beats. And that's when he relapsed. He had one relapse, and it was supposedly he had fentanyl in the crack as well, and that was it. Ended him. It's fucking horrifying, man. And the crazy thing is, in hip hop, dude, we're losing a lot of legends. Yeah, like lots of people dropping dead.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Even like my idol with Prince, like the pain pills and things like that, and the natural addiction. Like, I would have never thought.
Do you get into the conspiracies about Prince, about him being taken out?
Yeah, I get into a lot of shit, man. I get into a lot of shit, and that's what I talked about earlier. I said I'm a little faith-based over here, and I'm a little science-based over here. You gotta like I mean, you got to show me sometimes. You know, you know what I mean? Like,
Because I heard that the night before Prince passed, he put on like a 2 hour and a half performance,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then the next day drops dead.
And then there was like the issues with him on the airplane where they had to land the airplane,
Right.
having issues and shit. And it's like, was somebody trying to take him out then? That shit didn't work, you know. And then he was in concerts doing little weird shit like some of our greats do, saying weird shit at concerts, doing weird interludes and shit. And it's like, man, you gotta pay attention, because we all know propaganda and media, they can twist your mind real quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real quick. But the facts, sometimes that shit's out there, you know. And then you start looking at Prince when he starts telling the truth. You start looking at when he starts talking about chemtrails, and he's with Larry King, and he's starting to identify and open up himself to be more like analytical and tell people what he's about. And then I go back and I do shit like I listen to his songs like Signs of the Times and shit like that. You know what I mean? And he's talking about HIV and little bombs that drop out of the air and shit. And it's like, it lets you know where these people are at, you know?
Yeah.
Or are these messages that they were implied for them to put out there? You know, like, I don't know.
Have you seen him live?
Yeah, I did. And it was the weirdest thing for me because I was the only concert in my life. I've seen some great artists too. That was the only concert in my life where I looked around and everyone in the stadium was on their feet and they sang every song.
Oh man, that's amazing.
I don't even know why we paid for seats.
Wow.
No one sat in them.
What's your favorite Prince song?
Oof.
You know, it's funny. I ask myself that all the time. It's like mood shit, right? Sometimes it's dry, sometimes it's beautiful ones, you know, and then sometimes I have to go back to a Prince. Younger days, we had all the raunchy shit, you know what I mean? Fuck, I love Darling Nikki, and you know, Adore, of course, man. That shit.
Oh wow.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that shit. You gotta love somebody if that shit comes on.
Yeah.
You know, I probably watched the movie Purple Rain. I don't know. I mean, when I say hundreds of times, dude, I still have a VHS and I have the DVD.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's insane.
I gotta admit, I got the VHS too.
Mine is "You Sexy Motherfucker." I love that song, man.
I have so much stuff from that guy, man.
Oh yeah, the instruments he could play. Like I always say that Prince was the greatest guitarist, that a most underrated guitarist.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant.
Like come on, like they always go to, you know, the
Hendrix.
Led Zeppelin guy and Jimi Hendrix, and Hendrix was great, but I think Prince would play him fucking under the table.
Oh wow,
that era was crazy. Era was crazy.
It's crazy.
Oh, you know what I just bought of Prince? Oh, that shit's in my other room. I'll have to send you a picture of it. But so Sunset Sound, they sold 100 copies of his work orders. So they sold 100 copies of the Purple Rain work order, and I bought them. Because what happened was Prince didn't really sign his name. He actually signed Prince Nelson on it. He had the work order and shit like that.
Oh wow,
shit.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But now since COVID's over, that's on my list, man. I'm actually going to Minneapolis and I'm gonna take the tour of his place.
Damn, that's wild.
Will we ever see legends like that again, do you think?
No.
Like, is the legend, you know, level been lowered now? It seems like everybody is going to become legends now because of technology and overexposure, right? But he might have been the last great one, if you really think about it.
Yeah, Mike passed. I mean, we still have, like, I mean, Madonna's, you know, she's around. Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. It's really interesting. Like, I don't know. I don't think these artists have it. And then it's like, you know, those people right there, they perfected their craft and artistry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even as individuals, like, that when they embodied their character, like they lived it. Like, you never see Prince as a regular individual. Whenever you seen Prince, you seen Prince.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, these guys are just normal. You know what I mean? And it's like, I even like watching old rehearsal tape from like older artists and shit, because like they fucking cared. That was like life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's like, yo, EQ my shit, give me a mic, yo, my boys over here doing all my fucking ad libs, throw a dope ass green screen behind me and let's go. You know? Most of the rappers don't even know the words to their shit. They be on stage like skipping every like fucking bar and shit.
Unreal how often we talk about this.
Will Drake be considered a legend, do you think?
Yeah, to these kids. See, but I think where the break is with people like us and the kind of artists we got to see before that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Drake will. I mean, he 10 years strong, decade, hella hits. But see, Drake came out around that time where we were seeing this evolution in music. Speaking of that shit, you remember when we were younger, there was no fucking features on a CD. unless it was a group like NWO Nation. When you put out an album, you have to put out that album.
Yeah.
Front to back.
Front to back. Now I can drop an album with 10 songs and have 8 features.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? So it's like, realistically, if a Reap had a hit and he shot it to me, he was like, yo, bro, I just want you to go on and drop a 16. I got a #1 hit again now. It wasn't like that in the past. We didn't see no crazy ass collabs unless the world was on the end and Michael, Marvin, and everybody got together saying he'll the world and shit. So like, there was no collabs.
Yeah, I think J. Cole's the only one, man. J. Cole's the only one that does full albums on his own, rarely ever allows collabs. And to me personally, I think he's getting kind of to that place, man, where he's iconic.
Who's that? J. Cole?
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be legendary though.
You know, it's because that's where he will slip in this, because it goes back to the shit we're talking about. J. Cole don't play that social media game.
Like at all.
He's old school, like 90s and early 2000s, more 90s, Jay-Z and all them, where it was all about his artistry, words and the shit that he said. Now these guys could sell an album full of bullshit if they're Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me mad.
It's just, but that's the shitty part about evolution, is that it's going to get convoluted and it's going to get messy because it spins out of control too much, right? Like we evolve too quickly now because of all the stuff we have around, all this technology. Look at us. We're 40-year-old guys. We got podcasts. Two different countries. Like it's just way too easy to do all this stuff. So we're going to evolve way too quickly now. We're not going to really get our feet grounded in anything, and it's just going to change and change again. And I think that popular culture is going to take the biggest hit of all, like music, movies. You know, look at movies. All we get is repeats. All we get is reruns of old movies now.
Yeah, I've been hit with that a lot. What did you just say? Yeah, and then the other thing that's killing this shit too, like you said, how fast is this? Because we can become successful and we can connect. The other thing too is how fast people are being able to be counseled now. How you are sensitive to your ideologies about life. How basically we all have to be fucking politicians. How we all have to fucking wear a mask in order. Like you can't even be who you are.
Yeah.
Depending on your level of success in society. Like,
it must be tough for you when you talk to kids. Like you're talking to kids, right? Yeah. Like what? When you sit there and get ready to talk to people, are you going like, man, what can I say? Everything changes so fast with these guys, and they're going to listen to what I say, but then they're going to go and do their own thing after. Like, how do you break through into young people?
Oh man, I fucking have this little term I always say, like, because I talk to them a lot and I do shit. I always tell people, like, I really found a way to put, like, the medicine in the poison. You know what I mean? Like, I really know how to adapt to them and say things in a manner where, like, it looks like I'm relating to them. And then when I get their relationship close, then I really know how to nourish. You get what I'm saying? But, like, you can't fucking force it the right way or you're human. They don't go for that shit. And like you said, how we were talking about the games, how, like, it was... This generation changed too, like the respect level for adults and like the information that you're giving them, they don't give up. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, who are you to tell me anything? You know what I mean? Like, and then for us, you have like life experiences, right? Well, somebody else, in their minds, they could be like, yo, I got more followers than you. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, right. That's what it is.
Right? Like, who are you? But like,
I think a big part of this, we were talking about it off camera earlier, is that the parents, man, it's really up to the parents, because I hear a lot of people talk about young people like this, and I got a 20-year-old and I got a 14-year-old, and dude, my kids they're fucking great. They're very respectful. They're very caring. They're empathetic people. But dude, it starts with the parents, man.
It's a big one.
The parents have to be required to be more accountable in how their kids turn out. It can't just always be, well, I work. Dude, everybody's got to work. At some point, you have time in your day where you interact with your kids, and you really got to interact. Like, you really got to get... I was having a conversation with my 14-year-old the other day, and I have a friend of mine who also has a 14-year-old, and he's always telling me how his daughter's a tyrant, runs over him, takes over the house. And me and my 14-year-old are just chilling on the couch, hanging out, because we spend a lot of time together. And she just says to me, she's like, you know what? I tell you pretty much everything I'm thinking. And I at first, like I didn't say anything. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool to see where she's going. She's like, I talked to my friends about the conversations they have with their parents, and they don't tell their parents anything. And then she's like, I pretty much tell you everything that happens in my life.
Yeah, it's good.
So
it's a good thing.
When I hear that, I'm like, okay, we did something different because she has no inhibitions expressing all of herself. And when I hear other parents say, oh, my kids, dude, it starts with the fucking parents. We have to find a way.
It's pretty good.
To turn the lens back onto the parents, so the parents aren't always saying, well, it's the video games, well, it's the music, well, it's the media, it's the social media, blah, blah. Dude, my kid didn't have a fucking phone until he was 16 years old, until he could pay for it himself. And I tell other parents, it's like, what? How did you not give your kid a phone? Like, what the fuck you mean? This is not a necessity. This is a tool, and you need to earn and understand what this tool can do, because there's going to be shit. Dude, once how old is your kid?
He'll be 20 next month, and then my daughter's 4.
So just think about it for a sec, okay? When we were kids and you wanted to see porn, you had to find a fucking magazine.
Yeah.
Or a VHS or a DVD or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The second these kids have Wi-Fi, the minute you give them a device with Wi-Fi, every single sex act you can imagine is right there at the fingertips. You tell me your 12-year-old with a device is going to say,
for sure,
I don't look at it.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I would have.
Right? So we gotta set expectations that these things that are like, the connection to the planet have to be respected as such. It can't just be a frivolous thing. Like my kids know if they break their fucking phone, they don't have a fucking phone. I'm not buying you a phone if you break that shit, take care of it. Otherwise you don't get another one. But they gotta understand these things, right? Like the biggest frustration for me seeing this turn of society that basically tells the kids that you're right, doesn't matter what, you're right. Doesn't matter what happens, you're right. That they take away the thing that makes people functional. Like they take away competition. They take away goals. They take away the ability to try and be something. Dude, my daughter was at a basketball tournament. A fucking basketball tournament. And they didn't keep score.
Oh.
There's no score. Everybody wins. Now I get it. Obviously there's no.
I don't get it.
There's no potential superstar athletes coming out of these schools. These are just public schools with no super athletes, so there's no
everybody wins.
There's no pride in the athletics. No one gives a shit. They just want people to participate and give you the participation back.
Wow.
They did not. My daughter was so mad. She's like, I'm just not going to do sports because there's no point. So then, as parents, we put them in MMA so they learn how to lose. They got to learn how to lose. They got to learn how to be pissed off. They got to learn how to be frustrated and overcome it. And somewhere we fucking said that's not cool.
That's crazy. Wow, that's a lot, man. That's a lot, actually.
That was one thing I noticed when I got up to Canada. I tell people this there too. When I lived up there, even working when I was around people in the music industry, like you guys are extremely talented. I'm talking about like the artistry up there, crazy. It blew my mind. The one thing I did not see though was here in America, we have like this entrepreneurship and this hustle that's out of this fucking world. Like, I know people that have a quarter of the fucking talent of people I met up in Canada, but have so much. Like I was out there looking at the
resources wise, right?
No, hustle.
Yeah. Oh, the hustle, yeah.
I mean, just like applying, like really, like people with less talent would push themselves so much out here to become something that people would think they're so great. And when I was out there, I seen people with so much talent, but didn't have that thing that we got out here. Like,
that's so true.
I was pushed. Like that's the one thing I got from out here that I would never take. As far as like the personality and the way people are at some standpoints, I don't like. But that American entrepreneurship you get from growing up out here is special. Like I can go anywhere and make it. For sure.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. I think you know what America teaches you? America teaches you that like fucking greed. I can be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's greed out here, and it's a democracy that's fucking. It's capitalism like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
it's disguised big time out here. It's just everyone has shit when you're out here.
So it's kind of like you ain't shit unless you get shit.
Huh? It's like that, and people hide it. No, because you got to think there's no sense of culture. Who are we? What are Americans? They don't do shit. Like when I go to Mexico and I go to Costa Rica, they're Costa Rican, right? They're Costa Rican. They respect their people, their heritage, their culture, their ancestry, and their land. They want to take care of it. What's America?
Honestly, the scariest thing is when you can judge a country by saying that they're the fattest nation on the planet. I think that says a lot about the gluttony in the States.
What's our culture here? What's America's culture? What is it?
Yeah, no, it's
capitalism, it's business,
but it's not
commerce.
Okay, here's the thing though. Okay, we say these things, we give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's not, dude. It's capitalist welfare. The corporations are the biggest welfare recipients out of anybody in North America. The corporations receive tax breaks upon tax breaks upon tax breaks over and over again on profit made. When you make profit, you pay taxes.
Look how our country was like, how big we are on outsourcing, right? So you care how much about your people? Oh,
nada.
Really?
Yeah.
Like when all our production is coming from China, Mexico, India, and various countries, only because that we're still taking people in a lower demographic situation, and we're giving them wages they don't even deserve, and it's
so
just
true.
They deserve more. So you took $20 paying jobs here that were the average blue collar working, and then you're trickling $3 over their head. You're dangling a small ass carrot, right?
Crazy,
and then
man.
You have to pay taxes for shit overseas, right? So okay.
Dude, Ronald Reagan signed the free trade agreement and basically said, "Fuck the U.S. for the next 50 years."
Then Bill Clinton came in and did his shit, right? And then you're talking about that. I mean,
They all talk biggie.
We patent medications. What the fuck? You gonna put a patent on some shit that's supposed to help people? But I forget. But then again, like we said, corporations, pharmaceutical companies, those are the people that politicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a democracy. It's not a democracy. It's not a republic. It's none of those things. It's just
a business, buddy. It's an
oligarch.
It's a company.
That's it.
Yeah, American corporation. And then you think about even our military, right? Where is all Canada's military located? I mean, the United States, we have a base on every fucking continent in the world. Where are you guys located?
In Canada. We're in Canada.
I don't know.
Well, we got one in Vancouver and Esquimalt, right? And then we got another one in Ottawa.
Military bases?
Yeah. Like we got a couple bases. Yeah, we got maybe a dozen bases or something in the country.
Name another country that has a base on United States soil. Not one. Like we have something in every. We're the world's bullies. We know that shit.
Oh yeah,
it's empire. Mm-hmm.
It is. It's risk.
Yeah, where are we? We're in Africa, Philippines, you name it. Where are we at? The only places they're not really fucking with us is Russia and China. And
yeah.
They look like they ain't shit, but people need to realize like China's a superpower. Like you better.
Yeah, fucking the superpower.
Yeah, and we have debt to China like a motherfucker. And then I tell people, I'm like, yo, they're importing our shit. Like we don't produce a lot of shit here no more. So
yeah.
And at the same time, the U.S. kind of holds China hostage too because they're the biggest consumer, right? Like China's a crack dealer and the U.S. is the addict. You can't have one without the other.
No, it's so true, man. It's so true. And I think the problem really comes down to like, you can't even buy a microwave that's American made. Like there's a lot of stuff you can't buy that's American made. It has to be made in China.
Doesn't exist. Yeah,
it doesn't.
Right? Drugs that made. They all come from somewhere. Everything's imported to the United States.
Except for weapons.
Exactly. we distribute weapons around the world and shit, right?
Very strategic. Very strategic export.
And they make their own too.
Yeah. And it's very good.
Yeah. I think in the beginning of the Gulf, the removal of Saddam Hussein, at one point ISIS was using bullets that said "Made in America" on American troops.
Oh wow!
So all the weapons that ISIS was getting was coming directly from U.S. weapon suppliers.
Wow,
yeah,
that's when you fucked up.
They're funding both sides of the war without impunity.
Wow,
that's a bitch. But I want to talk about what you're doing, man. We get into these dark holes.
Always in a dark hole somewhere.
But you're doing some exciting shit with an absolute boxing legend.
Yeah, it's dope, man. I am I got the opportunity just from like the promotional company that put it on, and doing the doc and working on it. Like I get a lot of creative control. So I truly didn't want to make it. Like I'm just telling you what I'm doing now. I didn't want to make it about his last fight, right? So the things I'm incorporating in this documentary that are going to be different is they wore headgear their last fight, right? Significant because of the brain injuries and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing I want to include in the doc. Is I want to talk about these boxers' health and shit like that. And I'm using Chavez as an example because it's someone that's fought hundreds of pro fights, you know what I mean? And dude, when I got close to Chavez, let me tell you some shit a lot of people don't know. You know, this guy has never hit the mitts. He doesn't do speed bag, none of that shit.
Oh, really?
No. So what he does for training, and a lot of people might not even know this, and I'll tell you guys now. What he does for training is Chavez goes to the gym, warms up, puts on his gloves, and he hits a heavy bag for 45 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
He doesn't do mitts. He doesn't know how to do speed bag. None of that.
Wow,
shit.
crazy.
He
So it's not technique.
No, he's a fucking fighter.
He's just a fighter.
I mean, if you go back and you look at his fights, he was always coming forward and throwing what?
Yeah.
That dude can do that shit for like an hour straight.
Yeah. That's tough, man. That's smart strategic boxing, though. Just fucking, you can take a punch.
But taking the punch is the problem, right?
Well, he took a lot of punches.
A lot of punches, but he always wore people fucking down. He
Wore him down.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna incorporate culture, because in Mexico, and especially going and listening to the people, very slim options. Just like it is in a lot of countries, right? From Cuba, Haiti, Dominican, I mean, drugs or fucking sports can change your life, right? A
Yeah.
lot of these things, they go from they start at a young age boxing. It's just like some of the individuals I've met from Thailand and shit. Like, that shit's real, man. You got little 4 or 5 year olds out there doing kickboxing matches.
Shit.
Taking a little money home and shit so they can eat for the week or the month. Like, that shit's crazy. And Chavez's story is no different.
Fuck, to be a fighter.
So I wanted to make sure I incorporated culture with this. I want to talk about the truth of boxing, why people started, what it means to the heritage, and I also wanted to incorporate things that most boxing don't cover, and that is like the health of these fighters and shit like that. What it does to brain damage. So I'm going to interview different doctors and things like that, ex-fighters and how they are. Situations where people talk about punch drunk and shit like that. Like, that's a real fucking thing. And like you said, it's one of those sports where like they've legitimately lost lives.
Yeah.
And paralyzed and yeah.
Oh yeah, it's really bad.
Do you think Nick Diaz has some of that?
Nick and Nate.
I don't know about Nick, but maybe Nate.
I've been around there for a long time, man, and I have seen changes, and that's just being an honest person, and that's taking myself out of the friendship, and then you pay attention to how those guys have fought. They're just balls to the fucking wall every single
Always.
time. And that's the sad part, because that's the brutality amongst all of us. I don't know if it comes from fucking the Romans or whatever country we're all. People love to see people get fucked up. Like,
Oh yeah.
But the crazy thing to me is, dude, Nate Diaz, skill for skill, is one of the most talented people that exists. Black belt in jiu-jitsu, phenomenal striker, fantastic cardio, but he just wants to fucking brawl.
that's it. His mentality, man. His mentality. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, I've known these guys, especially we'd all go hang out local bars and shit like that. And the other parts of these guys, super chill, super cool.
Yeah, you'd have to be. You have to be chill at that level.
And then when they like you, they're good people, you know what I mean? But like
The king's out there, right?
they're cool as fuck. And then the thing with them is like, that's all they want to do is fight, right? So like all this other bullshit is like, to them, they're like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care, man. They just want to sit up and do what the fuck they do, and then go back and ride their bike, smoke, kick it and shit, man. Hey, these are some healthy motherfuckers, though. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never gone to the gym, or when I run into them, they never look out of shape. They always, especially Nick. I'm gonna tell you right now, Nick always looks the same. Always the same. He never looks like he puts on weight, ever.
Just fucking.
Triathlons
Yeah.
He does triathlons?
all year.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
He does the gym, he's fucking stretching his shit, he works out, do some cardio shit, he has the steamer. That dude's unreal, dude. Unfucking real.
Well, these guys, fighters, if they protect themselves, keep their cardio strong, they can, last 5 rounds. They can go into their 50s. Randy Couture proved that you could go long time in this sport,
Facts.
right?
Yeah.
And
Who else? Hopkins in boxing. He was
Hopkins, Bernard, right? Like,
Winning as an old man.
you just have to. But Bernard, you listen to Bernard now, and you could tell like it's a little bit off, right? Like when you hear him, he fought a little bit past Evander too. Like I think he fought a little bit past their time because
they do have that sound to me. And then the other part between like I'm talking to you guys and I can hear like there's a certain level of intellect that we already have.
yeah.
And the other part about these boxers, because I even see it with someone young, and I don't know, it could just be like his comfort with cameras, but I look at Gervonta Davis. when you're dealing with sports like boxing and shit like that, a lot of people that become successful, these people are people that live in very high poverty areas where boxing is a way out, or they help them get off the streets and things like that. So education became like second to third to fourth, where it might have been like survival, staying off of drugs, just having a roof over your head, boxing, and then school was like, yo, fuck, man, I'm already trying to stay off of drugs, trying to and keep a fucking roof over my head. Boxing is going to be my way out. Where education wasn't their source of getting them a better life. It was like,
as opposed to like a Lennox Lewis who has a pedigree prize athlete,
right? And you can hear when Lennox talks and things like that. So you know, all these guys, you could tell, like, yo, they're not even that sharp up here. They're just very smart at their skill set, and that's it. Yeah. So
amazing.
That's how I try to step away from things, instead of be like, oh, he's a dumb fuck or he's a boxer. It's like, yo, man, what do you think this guy's educational level was when he was more and going through a system from foster home to foster home?
Shit.
Yeah, no, that's
because you get to be around a lot of young boxers. So are you able to impart this kind of advice to them? Are they receptive to it, or just kind of like tunnel vision?
There is some, and then there's also the element of like, I ain't never had shit and I got it, and now I want to like everything I ever seen on TV, and that's successful.
How was it for you? Were you tunnel vision? And if someone came to you and said, do it this way instead, would you have listened?
What do you mean, as a fighter?
Yeah.
No, but my coach was like, you know what, Mike, you're gonna lose. When you lose one day, he goes, I bet you fucking quit. And I'm like, no, I'm never gonna. Well, one, I'm never gonna lose. I said, okay, I was a fighter, so no, that's never gonna happen. And two, I'm not gonna quit ever. And he was right. I never lost a fight, and I had to quit. I had to quit for other reasons, right? But you think fighters are their own people. They're all lone wolves, no matter, even if they're running in packs, they're lone wolf type mentalities, and they're going to sink or they're going to swim. And it's up to a boxer. A boxer, I think, out of all of them, we're the most stubborn, because we're in our heads 24 hours a day.
Yeah, you know? You are. And then like when you get in there, it's just you in that ring too.
Exactly.
One significant thing with fighters, it's just you when you get in.
And you got to pay the price for whatever happens.
Yeah.
Who do you see is your favorite all time?
Boxer?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. He's 80s, right? I'm gonna think. It's a tough one to say, but I'm gonna say, man, just in your generation of growing up, you had to like, because you were in the middleweight probably generation of boxers, right?
It's like, for me, it's like Andre Ward, or it's like,
you're like in that division, eh? Yeah, Andre Ward. That was a good one.
Andre was just overall as a person, you know what I mean? Great boxer, very skillful, very respectful, family man of faith. He was ideal, you know what I mean? But like I can't ignore like the skill set I've seen Floyd do. Like the shit I watched Floyd do was just, and then I'm around it so much, I can understand why people don't like him. Like it's like fundamentally so good mixed with some outstanding like God-given speed and shit like that. It sucks to watch that shit, because it does. And then you do want to see him get fucked up. And then you just got to understand he's not going to.
It's so ridiculous to me that it never happened.
It's like, what's his name? UFC guy, we just talked about him.
Anderson?
GSP.
After Ildris.
Ngannou.
He's so calm in there and shit. And then
he's like, I'm 300 pounds.
He stepped up and he fought like, what's the thinner one? He's fucking cocky as shit.
John Jones,
African. What's his name?
Oh,
Israel. He's so fucking smooth. He don't care.
They don't care.
He's magical.
Kind of Floydish in a little way, you know, but people still, he don't care. He's so fucking smooth and technical. He knows how to win. He knows how to win.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's hard to watch that kind of, like for us. We all got to see the basketball debate, right? I grew up watching Michael Jordan. I fucking love Kobe. I think I love Kobe even more after his career, because I love the way Kobe spoke. I love his mentality. I love Kobe's knowledge and intellect attracted me more to him than his basketball play. But also when I I seen the shadow of Michael Jordan, so I was like, it's not really it. And then when LeBron came, I was like, not really it. You're great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you guys are phenomenal, but I've seen Michael Jordan with my own eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what your stats are. Like, to me, like, Drake has more fucking hits than Michael Jackson. You're not Michael Jackson, motherfucker. You
Yeah.
shit.
He sure thinks he is.
You had the fucking internet, dog. You had fucking social media. Could you imagine if Michael Jackson had fucking social media?
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
No question.
He would have been leader of the UN.
Oh yeah, sure, for sure. He'd be on a fucking $100 bill, like it.
Oh yeah, man. If he had social media, holy shit.
It's pretty profound.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's pretty deep.
Imagine if Madonna in her heyday had fucking Instagram, or
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Murdered.
Remember the sex book?
yeah, exactly. All that risque shit she was doing.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Prince and them backstage doing fucking blow at Rick James and shit? Like, they're on fucking live and shit, showing all these fucking shit. Dude, come on, man.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
Dude, Prince has the
Everywhere.
best celebrity stories. When people talk about Prince,
Mm-hmm.
he has the greatest. Everybody that's encountered Prince that tells stories about him, they just say the most amazing encounters, and they're all weird and unique and
Yeah.
legendary.
It's dope, yeah.
So I gotta ask you then, how do you feel about Justin Timberlake's unwanted tribute to Prince in Paisley Park?
I haven't like one.
Oh, you haven't seen this?
No, I haven't. I haven't like when I see like tributes and shit, even dating back.
Oh, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Because dude, Prince said that he didn't want anyone doing any of that shit after his death. He didn't want people singing his music. He didn't want any of that shit. Just let him die and play his music. That's it. And Timberlake still went and fucking decided to do this big Paisley Park tribute.
Well,
to
because they
Justin
all
Prince.
don't care, really.
Fucking asshole.
Like, they really don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about Prince. They care about themselves. And that's the ego of show business. And that's why some people, I believe, make it and other people don't. Because it's one thing about getting your ego in check, but it's another thing about using your fucking ego as a weapon of fucking mass destruction in an industry like the entertainment industry. That's the separator, dude. It's the people that drop the ego and the people that use it, right?
Now, I know that poster back there is not meant to say sex successful. Talk to us about what that is back there.
Yeah, so working on a line. So the line is called Sex, and then like the slogan is all about being sexy and successful. So I started like a female fitness brand, and it's like whatever sexy and successful is to you. You can be 300 pounds and lost 100 pounds, and you're a healthier person, shit like that. But the biggest reason I started is because I do work with a lot of athletes, right? And it's like, I'm very close to my mother and the women in my life and my daughter. And I see a lot of female athletes don't get the same fair shake as males do. So what I wanted to do was start a brand. I wanted to make their clothes more bolder, more aggressive, things like that. Like I'm already sponsoring like a cheerleading group out here. I sponsor some women fighters. Recently, even Josh, because I know Josh Johnson, he's a kickboxer. You guys know him. He's out there.
Yeah.
Josh did a boxing match, and I sponsored Josh.
Sick.
The biggest thing for me. And then today, I just met with a girl at the college here. She's a swim team. So like, I want to create a brand and then do something too. I think about my daughter and like the future of like women's sports. Like even right now, we're seeing all these women take themselves out of like Olympic spotlights and things like that because of social pressures and mental health, Then you have brands like Nike that tell their athletes not to get pregnant, not to do this. You have like the owner of Lululemon who tell women they're too big and it costs too much to make fabric to sell to make a profit for them. And I was like, dude, nah, fuck that. Let me create a sports brand that does stuff for women, And then I want to do different things. Like once we get started, like a percentage of this much profits may go to this women's group.
Excellent.
Yeah. So like, it's going to be more than that, And I'm just like, man, as a man that works in a business, and then it's like, dude, I feel so many guys and I know so many women and like, they just look for an outlet and they never have it.
Yeah.
Make the same sacrifices, if not even more. Like a lot of us men, like we can be men as long as we want to be men and socially that's acceptable.
Yeah.
If you're a young lady or you're a woman becoming an athlete, there's a lot of things. You take care of your body differently. Your relationship status is looked at differently. If you're an athlete, then there's your opportunity to have kids. You have to control that a little different. Like with me, if my lady's pregnant, then I can still go shoot a basketball.
Facts.
Mm,
You know, it's not fair. And a lot of these women, they lose their endorsements and various things and stuff like that.
interesting.
Their life changes. Where with men, look at Michael. When's the last time Michael Jordan played, right? But everybody fucking knows when his next sneaker's coming out.
Yeah,
Men are making profit post their careers and shit.
marketing.
Exactly. Something's got to change. You know what I mean? Like shit, we fought in the civil rights for blacks and shit like that to vote. People forget women couldn't vote in America at one
Yeah,
point too.
Well, women were the first real civil rights fight in North America. Before there was a civil rights based on skin color. It was women's rights, right? And it took the burning at the stake of thousands of women for no fucking reason outside of superstition before this was even a conversation.
oh yeah.
And it's crazy because this is kind of what suppressed society for so long is the destruction of what the mother force is on this planet, dude. We condemn the life giver. Like without the life giver, there's no fucking life. There's none of us. So the idea that we constantly take it for granted and women constantly are victims of abuse and sexual assault and all these different things, it shows that, you know, fucking really when you think about it, men are real pieces of shit, man.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast, and it's not every man's
For
nature,
sure.
but
Definitely not.
I think that it is just how it goes with humans.
You think it's our nature?
I think it's just our nature, I don't think we learn it over time. I think it's like the praying mantis woman that eats the fucking male after they mate. Why do they eat the male? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. But we're not supposed to understand. That's our nature. Just like man, it's our nature to rule over everything.
And I think like you said, I think it goes back to like the evolving too. Like you see things like you know, listening to Tariq, he's talking about his relationship with his daughter and like the one I have, you know. I remember there used to be a time where like the identity of the man was just that someone that works. He would come home, be minimal on conversation. Like the mother would fulfill whatever he needed as far as food and comfort, and he had a clear fucking disconnect from the rest of the family. Besides like keeping the fucking anvil down on the table, like yo, this is fucking long. You know? So I think we are seeing that too. And then you know it does, but then there's like women that are like men too. There's some women out there that are extremely fucking powerful that are dictators. So. Hey, I ain't saying
my wife. My wife is. Oh, buddy.
The one producing this show.
You have no idea. Right.
But it's all love. It's out of love.
Oh yeah, it's all out of love. It's all out of love. It's all love. It's out of love. It's all out of love.
Yeah, right.
No, but you know, but it's true, man. And I've always said, like, you know what, this world would be better off if we had more powerful women in charge. And we've always said that. I always say that the next
big part of this conversation.
I've always said the 90s was the beginning of the Black Revolution, where we finally, you know, started seeing some power and started seeing some evolution. The next has to be women. It has to be. Women have suffered for long enough, and I think that we know that when women are in charge, shit kind of is more organized and passive in the approach.
Yeah. I think we're seeing it worldwide, man. Dude, New Zealand, the leadership is brilliant. The country is thriving through the pandemic. 0 cases of COVID. Like, you know.
Will Kamala be president?
No, that's fucking tough, man. Out here, everybody was like, "How long is Joe gonna last?" Right? That was
Right. Do you think she'll be president though? Is that the route you guys are going? Because a woman has to come. Well, a woman has to come into power. They have to in the United States. It's
so
the only
behind.
way that they're going to evolve past China.
Dude, they're so behind.
Because China, if it's another man, white man, you know, anything up there.
That's the thing though. Like you guys seen the fucking votes, bro. It was like he still damn near won with pure fucking racism.
Yeah.
Straight up.
It's crazy.
Dude, he's still able to travel the country and tell people that he lost because the election was stolen.
But you gotta think about it.
Because they want him.
People came out to vote, and he still almost won with racism.
Yeah.
If we didn't tip our fucking cards this past year, like if you don't know who America is by now, you guys are fucking tripping.
Yeah, it's tripping.
I mean, come on, dude. Like even this whole shit with like the Capitol and these guys testifying today, like these are Capitol police officers. It's not your local city and shit like that. These are people that are decorated and shit.
Yeah.
They were saying like, yo, these people were saying Trump sent us. They were calling black cops the fucking, you know what I mean, the worst derogatory shit that this country's ever put on us. Like, it showed you who the fuck we were. And then you guys know if it was black and brown people in there sent the fucking drone strike, right?
Bloodbath.
Yeah, it would have been the slaughter, it'd have been the worst shit. It'd have been worse than the fucking Boston Tea Party. It'd have been worse than
Yeah, it would have been like Tulsa, man. It would have been just annihilation.
no, straight genocide. I do seriously. Like, yeah, a lot of shit that happened, you know what I'm saying, in the Holocaust and shit like that. But let that have been black people in the fucking Capitol. We'd be rebuilding that shit right now. It'd have been a bomb to hit that motherfucker.
Facts.
Wow.
No, the drone would have came from nowhere.
Fucking drone.
Yeah, they're ready, man. They're ready at the drop of a dime. We see it easily. They'll bomb the shit out of a city anytime they want.
Even officers were sitting there saying like, man, the shit we were wondering was when there was a peaceful protest when fucking Trump was out there. They had the National Guards. They had all this shit. They were like, we were inside the Capitol wondering like, yo, where the fuck is our help? That's not cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
And I think the biggest thing is this goes to show is that Blue Lives Matter talk was all just bullshit. Because there ain't no Blue Lives Matter right now when it comes to these Capitol Police. They're all being treated like, you know, they're pieces of shit. So
trial.
But that's
on
where,
trial.
but that's
Like,
where they have to be. Like
They're-
everything has to go that way, right?
They're petitioning for a case. They're petitioning for their justice. Like, yo, what are you guys going to do? And then you got guys that are getting like 3 months and shit of time or time served for running through the fucking Capitol. I mean, like, I've known black people that have been walking for fucking 20 years because of 3 strikes laws for marijuana. So, okay. So I could have fucking ran through the Capitol, fucking said fuck Nancy Pelosi, you know what I mean? Jacked off on her desk and got 4 months. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I'd be an Instagram legend. Fuck it.
the most telling part of that entire thing was these motherfuckers leaving the Capitol, looking at the cameras, smiling and waving. They knew nothing was going to happen to them. They just didn't give a fuck, and they wanted everyone to see it. Hi, no mask, nothing.
What were you guys thinking, like, being that you guys are our neighbors? You guys are sitting right up here in Canada in the past 4 years with Trump. Like, what the fuck were you guys thinking and feeling like, oh shit, the United States is going to kill us all? Like, what was it for you guys?
I honestly thought personally that this was going to be the most telling story in modern history of America as far as how blatantly they'll allow white supremacy to be upheld in front of everyone's faces without any fucks given. They didn't give a fuck. They upheld the white supremacy. They promoted it. They sponsored it. They shined a light on it and said, what the fuck are you going to do about it? And it happened exactly like that.
Yeah.
I knew that America would never vote for another president ever again.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
They will never allow that ever to happen again.
So everything predetermined now?
Everything, just like the sports and just like everything else in our world now in North America is going to be fixed.
It's really fucking fixed.
It can't be. They can't afford. Do you really think they're going to let The Rock in as the president? Like, come on.
Love to see it.
Like, they're talking. They put out the TV show. Okay, conspiracy. They put out the television show of The Rock being president. Okay? Oh, just get a feel. Oh, it has huge ratings, this show. The show has massive ratings.
Killed it.
So they're like, you know, we were going to go for Will Smith, but he fucked up, you know, allowing his girl to go sleep with a rapper. And so Will messed up. We can't have that in the White House. But The Rock, fitness, good with kids, you know, only had that Saturday Night Live blip. That was really disgusting, right?
What happened?
Saturday Night Live for The Rock? Do you know that?
No.
More conspiracy.
Okay.
More conspiracy. Right? But do you ever think that'll already honestly be a true democratic procedure in the United States?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I mean, you got to think, even right now, like, just for governor positions and shit, we got Caitlyn Jenner trying to hop in the mix here in California.
Weird,
you
right?
McConaughey. You got fucking Kanye was on the ballot last year. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he was on the fucking ballot while Harriet Tubman didn't free slaves, and while slavery was a choice for 400 years, because that's what it sounds like. And then while he's sitting in the fucking White House with Donald Trump and shit, telling his stories, wearing a fucking "Make America Great" hat on, so like that's the thing too. I tell people like you got to separate the artist and the artistry too. A lot of times, because like a lot of these motherfuckers you love for what they produce are different motherfuckers in real life.
So what you're saying is you're excited for Donda.
You know what? Nah. So my friend, I had a friend that went there. They were staying out in Atlanta and shit. I think I have that shot on my phone, man. They sent me a screenshot like of like ridiculous shit, like shirts, fucking chicken tenders for $50.
I saw that.
What?
At Kanye's listening party. You hear about this?
No.
So he had a listening party at a fucking arena.
Oh, I heard about at the arena.
What a cocky motherfucker!
Yeah,
man.
he's crazy.
But he's pretty.
He had a listening party there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Showed up 3 hours late. He didn't have a microphone. He didn't perform shit. He just walked around, Yeah. So yeah, sweet. Okay, so kettle corn was $35.
Wow.
Vegan kettle corn. Assorted snack basket, gluten-free, chips, bars, and jerky. Chips, bars, and jerky, $65.
Whoa! So this was open to the public.
Yeah.
Chicken tenders, $50. And all beef kosher Frank hot dog, $40. And then cookies and brownies, vegetarian, $45.
Unbelievable.
Damn, what a
US is a fucking capitalist. What'd I tell you guys?
Wow.
That's tragic.
It's a reality. And what do? You can't just stop doing that. You have to perpetuate and serve it up a different way so it'll never end. And you know what? If it never ends in our generation, so be it. Maybe the next generation will be able to do something, after we're gone.
Well, we have a top 3 that we like to do with.
We'll finish up with you.
High praise guests, and
it's like 2 a.m. in Vancouver right now.
and this is gonna be an interesting one. So we like to ask if you could take 3 artists with you to the afterlife. Any 3 artists, and you get their whole catalog.
One of them is gonna be.
And you get their whole catalog, but only 3. Who do you take with you?
The whole catalog. Okay, Prince for sure.
Definitely.
Yes. I'm gonna go with Jay-Z.
Ooh.
Interesting. Mix for Jay-Z and Prince.
Prince, Jay-Z.
Any smooth female vocals going with you, or?
There is, man. Okay, that's a hard one, but you know what? Sade, man.
Sade.
Ooh, I like it.
You can go Prince, Jay-Z, and Sade. I think I can vibe off of their music, man.
Sade is a good one. We haven't had Sade yet.
That's for when you're in eternity alone for some smooth jerk off sessions. in the externity, you got some fucking smooth operator, right? And you just let it loose. You're in eternity, no one around.
Dude, but
Sade's fantastic.
There's a lot of new artists like her at what's her name, Alina Baraz and shit like that. I like all the smooth ass people, Snow and stuff like they got
oof.
Yeah.
Vibes. I like that real atmospheric vibey shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. I do too.
Sade, damn. Yeah. So you hit him with the.
Okay. Here's my question. We both get a question. My friend, it was really good talking to you tonight. In fact, it was good, man. We got off to a crazy technical start, but something in the universe perhaps brought us,
stitched it together.
So I ask you, my friend, what happens when you die? What happens when you die?
What happens when you die? What happens when you die?
What have you always believed? What have you always thought? And that happens when you die. Like, what's your thing?
You know what? Okay, we're gonna fucking spin a little. We're gonna go back to. My mind changed about that a long time ago, right? Because I was fortunate enough to work with somebody when I was working some projects, and this individual was initially shot and paralyzed, but he had died like 3 different times and came back to life. The longest time he did, I think it was like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever, some weird shit, right?
Damn.
I asked him what happened, right? And I think this question is fucked up for me because his answer really, I said, so what happened? And I asked him, did he remember? And he said, yeah, he remembered. He told me that when everything starts to get dark, he says, but you're aware of it. He said, "You are aware that all the light and all the sounds around you are starting to go away." And then he said, when it would go away, it was only him. But he said, you were in like this place that felt endless. And he said, you can just look everywhere and it felt like you know where you were going, but there was like no one there. And then he said, when he was coming back, he said all the sounds and the lights started turning back on. But he still felt like it was him. And to me, I was like, what does that mean?
Damn.
Like, is the soul or the conscious something that is real? You know what I mean?
Just wanders.
And that right, that's where he got me. Because he said that. He said that's what he remembered. He remembered it. That he said everything, even when he was in the hospital one time, and then the time he had died on the porch and brought him back, he said it all just started turning off. And then he was just somewhere. And that somewhere was endless, but there was nothing of familiarity, and he couldn't see anything, but he could only feel and hear himself, but he knew everywhere he was going. And then he said everything started turning back on. And I've always wondered what that nothing was.
Okay, so that nothing was just your conscious dying slowly. It's the last thing in your brain to go. It's like when you dream, or you do DMT, or you do like any kind of like drugs where you go inside your head and you hear voices and talking. That's your conscious. And I think when you die, I believe that when you die, it just ends. I don't think that there's an afterlife. I don't believe in it.
He thinks it's over.
I think it's just over. I think it just ends. And I know everyone's like, well, what about energy and spirit? Your energy gets dispersed into something else. And I don't think your conscious goes with it. But I do believe that what he said, it's kind of like when someone gets their head chopped off, the brain doesn't die. The conscious stays alive.
It's like 12 seconds.
And it's your brain telling you, holy shit, you're dying. Like, it's over. It's done. You know, like, and you come to grips with it in a weird way. And then that's hopefully the peace that goes out. Like, you come to grips with, oh my God, I'm dead. And I just got to accept this, right? And then there's some kind of peace that comes out and you fade away to nothing. Like, you fade away to nothing.
That's so sad.
You're not wandering anywhere. It's just that your thought has no vision attached to it. So it's just you thinking. Your brain's just thinking. But I have no...
We're about to do another one of these shows so we can dive into some shit deep. And then there's also the side of me that thinks about things like I hear about like parallel universe and shit like that, right? Where it's like maybe you're existing in this, or you're existing in this frequency.
Yeah,
or
that's a fun one.
I think about dimensional beings, right? Like, okay, maybe I exist in this dimension and then my energy transfers into something different, right? So I don't know. I mean, that's the mystery of life, right? We don't have anyone to come back and tell us what it is, you know? But for me, am I hoping on some shit? Yeah, I'm hoping on like multiverse or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Not for eternity, but like, man, just the idea that this is it. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy to think that this is it.
This is it. And all the more reason to pursue your dream, go out and make an impact on people's lives. You know, go out there and feel and experience the sun in the morning and the fucking rain at night. You know what I mean? And do all these things in life, because just in case there is nothing afterwards, at least you satisfied yourself on earth. You satisfied your ego and you had some fun.
It's so weird. It's so bleak and then so poetic at the same time. It's like,
it's the way life is. That's nature. Nature giveth and taketh away.
Fun, you guys.
Profound. So where can our listeners find you?
Of course, man. Instagram the most. I say probably the most current on that. It's the easiest thing for me. So it's Aviom SS, AVIOM SS. And it's because it's a vision in one's mind. And then, of course, the SS. My whole life, I've been very selfless or selfish. And that's why I put the SS.
That's awesome.
Damn.
That's the best way to be, man. Right? It's balance.
It's a great name, man.
That's awesome. Really nice to meet you, dude. This is awesome. That's a really good talk.
Yeah, nice to meet you virtually.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks for your patience.
Dude, next time you're in Vancouver, man, make sure you hit us up.
Next time I'm in Vancouver, we're going to do it in studio, so I got you.
Hell yes. Sounds great, man.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it, dude. And I can't wait. Let me know when you get this up so I can repost it and share with everybody, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Great conversation, man. Have a great day, bro.